Hi, so welcome to another project analysis. Today we're going to talk about Narra Residences. So I think the first thing we share is the location of this project. So this project, right, is actually situated along Petia Road over here. Then it's actually next to one of a lot of developments, private developments. The newest one that TOP is actually Dairy Residences. Then the one that's upcoming TOP will be the Botany. Then of course there's Eco Sanctuary, Tree House, and Forensic. So this will be the location of Narra. Yep. Then the facing for this project, right, mostly is actually north-south facing. You can see over here, except for one unit, which is actually facing the east. So this one is facing Petia Road, which will get the full morning sun.
It's a three-bedder.
It's a three-bedder, yeah. Right. Okay, then before we go any further, I think this is one of the main highlights. When we talk about Narra, right, these are the main thing that a lot of people always ask us, say, hey, actually, the projects there don't make much. You see, like Dairy Farm Residences didn't profit much during this period of time. Yeah, then this is a very big concern, especially you're buying for investment. Yeah. So why we are so familiar with these Dairy Farm Residences didn't profit that much is because actually we ourselves, we are the owners of Dairy Farm Residences. Yeah, but okay, we buy for different reason. We bought actually for own stay because it's just very near my in-laws, which is your parents' house.
2 bus stops away.
2 bus stops away. Yeah. Then we wanted something new also at the point of time. Yeah. Okay, so how much they earn in total or profit, right? Launch date all the way to 2025. So this is about 17%. Yeah. So again, Dairy Farm TOP 2024. That's when we got our keys as well last year. Yeah. Dairy Farm a bit different. So it's a bit mixed development. Yeah. So there's shop downstairs, so like NTUC, etc. Yeah. So if let's say for example, if you take the extreme east side, which is Tampines, because at that point of time,
we were also considering this project.
You consider?
No, okay, you were considering, not me.
Honestly, Dairy Farm Residences, we didn't bring any upgraders to go and buy, but we ourselves go and buy. Yeah, because it's really just our needs.
Near my parents.
Yeah, it's our needs. Yeah, but the another project that we were very confident in because of the price point, the entry price, and the demand, right, was actually Treasure Tampines. So just to show the difference, so Treasure Tampines, you can see over here, the same timeline as Dairy Farm Residences they actually grown by almost half. Yeah, so this is I think this one is like sort of like a healthy
growth
or healthier growth okay. Yeah, so the main reason for this, if you really dive deep into this, is actually because of supply and demand. When we talk about supply and demand, right, actually most of these supply and demand come from where? If own stay, will be
HDB upgraders.
Yeah, HDB upgraders, right, the MOP blocks. Yeah, then a lot of people talk about the COVID effect. So what the COVID effect is that because of the lack of supply, right, then demand went higher so that the property price went up. But you can see over here, this delay, actually because COVID started when 2020 or 2019 end, then 2020. So all the way from then, right, the BTO, right, all wasn't ready. So the volume back then, 2024 to 2025, dropped. Yeah, so this year and last year, right, for this area itself, Bukit Panjang, Choa Chu Kang, Bukit Batok, and Tengah. But of course, Tengah is not ready yet. Yeah, but just based on these few locations itself, I can see that the supply dropped very drastically. Usually maybe about 8,000, 12,000. Then in the future also 8,000, 12,000 again. Yeah, but dropped so much the last 2 years, right, that actually there's no much HDB upgraders coming to see. So even when we're selling our unit right now, right, we also realize that there's not much HDB upgraders that's coming to see. Yeah, there are of course downgraders. We saw some retirees that's looking at Dairy Farm Residences
or from the surrounding lender.
Right? Or some of them they want to change property, to a newer one. They also came to view Dairy Farm Residences. Yeah, okay, so we can see that the trend over here is very significant. So I took these 3 projects, which is Forensic just now, the one next to it, then Eco Sanctuary as well as Tree House. So you can see like based on the graph, the point is very, very similar one in terms of the growth. So I just take Eco Sanctuary, which is the one in red as an example. So you see the blue color bar, which is over here, back then in 2017 to 2020, the growth is near 8%, 9.74%.
And the MOP units is about 8,000 plus.
All right, so this one helps to sort of drive it in. Then for the green color portion, which is the COVID times. Yeah, so COVID times, again, lack of supply. The supply not only for HDB, the supply also hits into the private also. Yeah, so into the private at the time, right, actually in 2021 and 2022, right, there's actually no new projects.
TOP projects.
Yeah. Right, so if somebody's looking for a resale project for a new one to own stay, or even to
upgrade.
Yeah, or even those like slightly newer, like for example EC, the MOP one, 5 years, don't have also. Yeah, there's none of it between 2021 and 2022. So until 2023, then there's a few projects. Yeah, but 2023, right, you can see that's why if there's 12,000 people that's upgrading over here, right, this one will eat into what? If they cannot buy something that is brand new, right, then the next best choice is go for something newer like Forensic, Eco Century, or Treehouse nearby, which is about, then that's where it contributes to the 20% growth. Yeah. So because overflow to resale, then after you can see like over here,
sudden drop in the volume.
Correct, for the HDB, BTO, the MOP units, right? Then 4,000 estimated lah. Yeah, then when you translate to this one, right, you can see that the resale also dropped significantly. Slower. Immediately dropped to 5.38%. Yeah, of course, all these figures over here is estimate because HDB itself, or the MOP time frame really depends on your key collection. So the figures over here is a rough estimate at the point of time based on the estimated figures we consolidated.
But after that, the past few, as in the next few years, right, the volume is going to get slightly healthier as compared to 2024 and 2025.
Yeah, because of all the, you can see like what they do during the COVID times, they try to push out as much BTO as possible. Yeah, so all this BTO that is done, right, completed, right, they're going to be MOP soon also. Okay, so this is the projects that is the range of 2021 to 2023 TOP. So as mentioned just now, there's no project that actually TOP back then in 2021 to 2022. So the one that actually 2023 TOP will be Midwood, Mont Botanic. Then the one that is actually ECMOP will be Soul Acres as well as Wonderview. So the total number of units that's actually available for sale at that point of time within this period of time, if you want something slightly newer or almost brand new,
direct for own stay immediate
one, would actually be 2,533 units compared to the 12,429 units that is going to be MOP. Yeah, but of course we also understand that not everybody from the MOP will definitely go and upgrade. But it's just to give you a gauge of how this will affect your demand. If let's say you're looking to buy a unit here in this area to invest. Yeah, so compare then, okay, so let's say for example this one over here, which is 2024 to 2025 range. Then we have Dairy Farm Residences, we have Phoenix Residences, we have Bukit 828, then we have Inns Residences,
MOP.
Right, which MOP. Yeah, so total number of units is 1065 units. Yeah, compared to the number of MOP potential upgraders. Yep. Yeah, so what this translates to, if let's say for example, if I take this figure, 12,000 plus, divide by 2,533, which means that the ratio of one unit,
upgraders,
one unit, the private one, right, is equal to
about five
MOP, right?
Upgraders are looking for one resale unit in this area.
Correct. It's an estimate. Again, we also know that not everybody is looking to upgrade, but this is just a figure that we can actually show so that you all know that or understand that how the demand and supply works in this area. The HDB MOP figures drop, then the figures here also will likely drop for private. Yeah, so if we count the ratio, right, it's actually 3.7. 3.7, which means the demand will significantly drop. Yeah, because the private here, the ratio, right, is now one unit for the private is about 4 only. 4 MOP place. Which actually the drop, if you calculate, is a 25% drop. Yeah, so this was what is affecting this area at this point of time, which is 2024 to 2025. This will be a trend for a while. Yeah, we will hit into 2026, 2028, all the way to 2030 at that point of time. Yeah, all these may likely get better because the MOP blocks will be abundant, a lot more. Okay, so this is in general, of course. But let's say, for example, if you dive really deep into whether dairy farm really didn't make money at all, right? We go into different bedroom types. Yeah. So which are the bedroom types that didn't really make as much, right? If you narrow down, right, on average, right, 2-bedder earn about 121,000. The 3-bedder earn about 267,000 on average. Then the 4-bedder earn about 500,000. Yeah. And then the next question is that a lot of people ask you that, okay, I mean, because you pay less, you earn lesser. But let's say we take the ROI for 2-bedder itself, the profits divide by the purchase price. Probably the ROI over here, right, will be about 12%. Yeah, for 3-bedder, that time we count, right, is based on this, right? Let's say their profits, the average profits versus their purchase price, let's say we say 1.6 mil. Yeah, the ROI is 16%. Yeah, simple ROI. Then for the 4-bedder itself, right, at 565,000, right? Then let's say you buy at 2 mil, on average, your ROI is already 28%. So when we say don't make as much money, right? We actually don't make as much money. We see there's actually mostly that the 2-bedder sector over here, which means that the 3-bedder as well as the 4-bedder, right, is where people are buying and mainly for own stay. How we can see this data is over here. You can see back then in 2024 and 2025, again, we take the MOP blocks for Bukit Panjang, Choa Chu Kang, Tengah, and Bukit Batok. You can see the majority, let's say 4-5 room over here, majority of them, the percentage of these MOP blocks, right, are all people that are 4 and 5 room. Yeah, so 4 and 5 room, right, I mean, we also notice that we talk to customers, right, tell them say, hey, actually, those staying in 4-5 room, right, they say you want to upgrade to a 2-bedder, actually not very convenient unless it's just a couple. There is people that do that because, like a couple, they don't intend to have kids, then maybe a 2-bedder is okay, right? Yeah, but mostly, let's say for example, have kids or they are very used to the layout of the 4-room and 5-room with 3 bedrooms and bomb shelter, then a 3-bedroom, right, for this location, right, would be the most ideal. At least. Yeah. The 2-room over here, we didn't take into consideration because the 2-room over here, honestly, most of them, they are actually with high risk. Yeah, so then most of them, they are not looking to upgrade. So in this location itself, we also can know like the demand over here mainly will be the bigger bedroom types.
For
and
own
for
stay
own stay.
element.
Yeah, for own stay element.
So then in the future, after 2025, how are the demands like? So we also break down into the bedroom types, okay, like the HDB types. So we can also see from 2026 onwards, the MOP, like we mentioned just now, the numbers are going to increase, the volume is going to increase. So why did we look into 2030 is because Narra is going to TOP around that timing.
Yeah, we'll TOP at that time. So we need to see like whether there's a demand if we were to buy that project over there.
Is the stats going to be the same? So we can also see that for 2030, okay, the 4 and 5 room is actually also the majority of them. So which means the history is going to repeat itself. Majority of them is going to look for own stay element, looking to upgrade, they will probably come and buy Narra Residence when it TOP. Yeah,
so you break down into really the bedroom types. This will be the demand at this area over here. So the difference now and next time in the future, right, is now that the demand here is definitely a lot lower. Then there's potential
for
to
higher
have a higher demand in the future. So if you go for something historical proven, usually people would like to look for developments that is a place of high demand. Yeah, then of course in the future we also know that there's also high demand in the future. Continuously high demand. Yeah, but let's say today as a developer, can I say that let's say if you know that the place really have high demand, your price point will be very, very different. Yeah, will probably be a little bit higher.
Because the developer is more confident.
Yeah, developer more confident, right? But because in the future you also got high demand. So I mean confidence level to sell, likely you also able to sell. Yeah, shouldn't be an issue also. Yeah, but today, let's say, for example, you're looking at the place which is slightly lower demand, which is like, for example, Narra now, this location, or the place that we buy. Yeah, right now, the demand is a little bit lower. What we notice is that developer might be a bit more prudent in terms of the pricing. Yeah, because currently, demand is lower. Yeah, so the price point might be also very different. Maybe the price point at this point of time a bit more prudent. Yeah. So what we're trying to share is that sometimes when we look for property, right, of course, there's a historical track record, but then, of course, we also want to share one thing is that always buy into opportunity. Yeah, so now the developer is more prudent in the pricing. In the future, the price point could be very different, which means your profit margin gap over here could be wider compared to a place with high demand and high demand in the future. Yeah.
So this is why you can see these are the indicative prices for the different bedroom types. Okay, for a 2-bed, 2-bath, in fact, you can get about 1.176. And a 2-bed, 2-bath is starting from 1.28.
Yeah. So I think the 3-bedder itself is the attractive
Very
one.
attractive.
At 818 square feet. Actually 1.6 mil. 1.6 mil in the last few launches, I mean, don't talk about central area. We just talk about places like, for example, in Lentor, the OCR regions. 1.6 mil is only a 2-bedder. 2-bed, 2-bath.
But
That's
here
all,
you can get 3-bedder.
Yeah. Then just to emphasize also, Narra is actually a project that is harmonized. Yeah, so if you see the square feet, like the 3-bedder is at 818 square feet. Actually, this is the harmonized square feet. If you add up the pre-harmonized one, right, then of course the size are more or less very similar to the
900
areas around there. Yeah, the current developments around there. Yeah, so again, for those that is not sure what harmonized is or pre-harmonized is, right, we actually did a video on this. Yeah, so you can actually click on our YouTube video and actually check out what is harmonized and pre-harmonized.
So can I say actually buying into this seems very attractive. But another concern we have is, so in the future, if I buy this price, can I sell
Yep.
with a very good profit? And can the people surrounding here, or those MOP already, can they afford to come and buy my property?
Yeah, because the 3-bedroom here, I can see is actually 1.6 mil. But I mean, this is a starting from price, ma. I could buy the place up to until 1.8 mil. But in the future, in order for me to make a good profit, I think a 2.1 mil or 2.2 mil would be something that I'm looking at. Yeah.
Okay, so we did a simple calculation. Okay, we take a tengah 4-bedroom, 4-room HDB as a calculation. Okay, so we estimate the purchase price is about 350K.
So the bedroom at Tengah, right, the 4-room, right, the price range should be about low 300 to high 300K lah. But just take an average 350K lah. Yeah. And the selling price, right, is actually average indicator. If let's say you search online or anywhere, right, for this 4-bedroom, right, probably will end up about 750K. Okay, estimate, indicative price range. But we're taking it at 700K because again, there's this factor that involved is supply and demand. Because Tengah at that point of time going to have a lot of MOP blocks. So we use like the current indicator 750K, right? I'm just worried that maybe too optimistic. So there's a lot of supply over there. So what it means is that the price point might drop also. Yeah, so to be conservative, we put 700K. Yeah.
So all in all, the profits is about 350K. And then we also calculate estimated CPF return is probably about 150K. So all in all, CPF plus cash, you have about 500K.
Yeah, but of course, all these figures, for example, we take the profits, we never take in consideration, like they say, accrued interest. There's a lot of other factors involved, like the outstanding loan to the bank, to minus out everything. But this is a very good
just a pure estimation.
estimate because when we help our clients to buy or sell the house, which they bought at 300 over K, and buy at 700K, right, their CPF plus cash returns at this period of time probably about 500K.
It's about like that.
Yeah, or 400 plus near 500K. Yeah.
Okay, so just now we mentioned if let's say we buy a 3-bedroom Narra at 1.8, maybe you want to sell at 2.1 mil. So this is the breakdown in the sums. Okay, 5% cash, 20% CPF, and the stamp duty. So total you will need 509K and 600.
Yep. So let's say, for example, if we see over here, the total needed is near 600,000. The person only got 500K worth of CPF plus cash. Technically, it's not enough to down pay. If let's say the person don't come out additional cash. Yeah, but let's say we recalculate for this person to be able to afford the Narra 3-bedder, right, their loan amount will actually be 1.575 mil. Yeah, which is near 1.6 mil. Yeah, so the interest rate now is, of course, we know is 2%, but banks are still using stress test of about 4%. Yeah, then assuming that this buyer can get full loan tenure, which is 30 years, the combined income, right, would be $13,700. Yeah, with $13,700, right, the monthly contribution, right, would actually be 3,100 for the CPF ordinary account. Yeah, so currently how much they're paying for this Tengah 4-room, if they buy at 350, their monthly mortgage would be near 1,200, which is 1,191 to be exact. Yeah, so if you minus all the difference, they have a surplus in their CPF, right, of about near 2K, which is at 1.9K. Yeah, so if let's say I take 4 years, I mean, I don't take the full 5 years because probably this person needs time to have a pay increment. But anyway, this is a combined income. The couple need time to increase their pay bit by bit, accumulated over 4 years. Yeah, their CPF really 92,000. So at 92,000, if I add in the 500,000, right, technically is almost enough for the down payment. There's a few factors I didn't factor in also. Firstly, is actually the interest. Yeah, because there's interest accumulated. So probably if the interest accumulated, there's a good chance that they can match. But at the same time also, if you're earning this income, probably you have some form of savings. If let's say I save another 2K per month as a whole, combined. So 1K for husband, 1K for wife, cash savings. So probably by then, 4-5 years later, you're also about 100K already. So this is actually how the affordability of the next pool of buyers coming in will be like. Yeah. Okay, so before we go straight into the full Narra analysis, into the floor plans, everything, right, this is just our contact details. So if you're curious about upgrading or even to find out more about the projects around this area, you can reach out to us.
So here are some details about Narra Residences. There are about 540 units and TOP is estimated in January 2030. Total of 8 blocks. Okay, and they are staggering blocks. So the tallest is 16-story and then 13-story and the lowest is 6-story.
Okay, the car park ratio here I think is quite nice. It's for 540 units, right, you have a car park ratio of 546, which includes 17 EV lots.
17?
Yeah.
So for developer, it's actually a joint venture by Apex Asia as well as Narra Residences. Okay. So for schools nearby, if you're not sure, because a lot of people say got no school nearby. Yeah, actually there is. Okay, there's Bukit Panjang Primary, which is one of the better school in this area.
Is it your school?
Yeah, it's my school. Okay, and also CHIJ, Our Lady of Queen of Peace. And there's also an international school right beside the development, which is a German school.
Yeah.
Okay, these are the unit breakdown, the unit types breakdown. Very interestingly, you realize 1 plus study only got 3 units.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, this is only at the ground floor. There are only 3 ground floor units for this 1 plus study. Okay, so it's a very good bedroom mix. And later we'll highlight further because 5 bedroom, it comes with a private lift.
Yeah, actually very little 5 bedrooms in this whole area. Yeah.
Actually, the whole of Bukit Panjang, the 5 bedroom don't have private lift.
Yeah.
So this is the site plan. So if you want, you can pause this screen and zoom in and take a look.
So again, like all the units here are actually north-south facing, except for again the one unit right over here. Yeah, so this one is the 3-bedder that is facing towards east. Yeah, so again, full morning sun.
So this is a full condo facilities, and actually there are 4 retail shops over here. Actually, the retail shops are also for sale, just that we don't have the dimensions right now. So these are some perspective that you can take a look. We are going to floor plan.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you're going to select the unit, I think the 1-bedder, we will just have a brief one. So the 1-bedder, I think the layout is good. Nowadays, the 1-bedder, right, they give you Jack and Jill toilet, which is nice. Yeah, but there's only 3 units here. So this one, if you're looking to buy, to rent out, personal opinion, I feel that maybe not the 1-bedder also, because 1-bedder only got 3 units over there. Then surrounding developments also got quite a bit of 1-bedder also. Yeah. So if you're looking for own stay and you really want a place, just a bachelor pad, I don't think this is perfect. Yep. Because you have your place for study, which you can actually use for storage also. Yep. Then the 2-bedroom. So the 2-bedroom, there's quite a bit of layout. So I think the first one is actually B1. So B1, right, is actually a 2-bed, 1-bath. 2-bed, 1-bath layout. Yep. Then after that, followed by, this one only got one only. There's only one type of 2-bed, 1-bath. Then followed by 2-bed, 2-bath. So this 2-bed, 2-bath don't have storage. Yeah, but they have a tuck-in kitchen over here, which is have a possibility to enclose over there if you have a vent right here. Yeah, other than that, I think this is a very typical and very functional kind of 2-bed, 2-bath, which you have your Jack and Jill toilet over here. Then your master bedroom over here, which you have your, of course, your master bath. Yeah, then after if you go down to B3, so B3 onwards, you will have your storage area already, bomb shelter. Wow, this is something that we finally see in all the 2 bedrooms. I mean, there's a period of time that I think a lot of consumers feel that the bomb shelter is a waste of space because you're paying money for it. Yeah, but actually to keep the place neat and tidy, I think a bomb shelter recently these days, I think people find it's very essential also, right? Yeah, so this one has a bomb shelter for B3. Then of course a tuck-in kitchen again, then a Jack and Jill toilet. Then this is a dumbbell unit. So just now the one also a dumbbell unit. So a dumbbell unit, which means a 1-bedroom at one side, the living room in the middle. Yeah. So this is for B3. So B4 and B3, right, is actually very similar. So what's the difference between B3 and B4? It's actually over here. You see B3, right, the DB box is in front of the dining area over here. Then for B4, if you see the DB box, it's next to the kitchen over here. Yeah, so other than that, then of course the AC latch, the shape is also a little bit different. Yeah, one is actually an L shape and one is this shape.
But AC latch not much of a concern.
Right, but also AC latch is not counted in. So because it's also part of harmonization. Yeah, so AC latch will not be counted in anymore. Yeah, so this is the small difference. So from this onwards, we'll all have storage, which is the bomb shelter area. Then for B5, so for B5, what's the difference, right? Is B5 is, again, like in my past videos, I call this the traditional layout, which means all the rooms are tucked at one side, which means all you have privacy over here, not the typical dumbbell layout. So for B5 and B6, which is right over here, right, these two, which is the traditional layout, right, are the only 2 bedrooms over here that will have windows in the toilet.
Kitchen and the toilet.
Yeah, in the kitchen as well as the toilet. Yep. Then you have some flexibility over here, which the wall can actually remove. Then if let's say, for example, some of them want to make it a walk-in wardrobe, it can be done like this. So this master bedroom can access to here also. Yeah, we have seen people remove this part over here and actually make the space look a lot more spacious. Yeah, at Narra Residences also. Yeah, then of course you have your bomb shelter over here. Okay, so the main difference between B5 and B6 is actually the kitchen in front over here. Yeah, if we narrow down, right, this kitchen over the wall here at B5, right, you can see it's a bit smaller. Yeah, then compared to B6, right, this one's a lot bigger, a lot wider.
B5 more tucked in lah.
More tucked in. But in terms of size, this is also 4 square meter, this is also 4 square
Same
meter,
size.
so more or less the same lah. Yeah, then the last two layout would actually be the 2 plus study. Yeah, again, you have your storage area here. Yeah, then the extra thing is you have an extra study room over here. Then the kitchen also in one corner, which also possibly can make it to an enclosed kitchen. Yeah, so the 2 plus study don't have windows. So the only windows, right, is the previous layout, which is B5 as well as B6.
They are the only ones with the traditional and with all the windows.
So the main difference for B7 as well as B8, right, is actually the study area, the location. So you can see the study area location, right? This one is opposite of the kitchen. This one, right, is next to the kitchen, which is here. Yep. So based on the floor plan, right, the layout for B8, right, the study room might be a bit more narrow. Yeah.
Yeah, but B8, because the living room, the layout, right, the living room when you step in, you will look much bigger. Yeah, because of the length.
So based on this, right, the 2-bedder, right, our choice would be
The traditional layout plus with all the kitchens in kitchen and bathroom.
which is here lah. This one
Yes.
Yeah. So
this is our first choice.
right, which is B5 and B6, because we felt that actually windows in the kitchen and in the toilet for a 2-bedder is very rare these days. Yeah. So this is something that a lot of buyers, even they kind of view their reform residences, they always ask, hey, toilet got window or not? So this will be the first choice. Yeah. First choice. Then followed by I think our second choice would actually be B3 and B4. Because B3 and B4, right, they do have actually everything that is necessary for own stay. Yeah, even with the storage area. The only thing they don't have is actually the windows. Yeah, so this one will be the second choice.
So I think couples or young families, small families, they have extra storage plus it's very functional.
Correct. Then the third one will probably be B2.
B2.
Yeah, this is the third one. Yeah, and why third one is actually B2, right? It's because although they lack the storage, right, but I think they still have all the basic functions. And fourth would be 2-bed, 1 bath. So 2-bed, 1 bath, what I personally feel is that when we bring clients to go and see the units and place itself, right, 2-bed, 1 bath, sometimes the toilet not enough for a slightly bigger family. Yeah, so some people may prefer a 2-bed, 2 bath, at least minimally. Yeah, but rental, probably 2-bed, 1 bath is better. Yeah, but 2-bed, 1 bath, like just now, we did discuss also, they mentioned that in terms of budget, it's a bit more friendly. So lastly, with the 2 plus study, right? Yeah, which is here, which is number 5. Yeah, so why 2 plus study we put last is because 2 plus study, right, is always the sandwich.
Yeah, so I feel for the difference, because the 3-bedder over here, the starting square feet is about 818 square feet.
Yep.
So for the difference of about 97 square feet, so if we take about 2,000 PSF, probably it's about 190 something K, I would go for a proper bedroom and also a bigger kitchen. And plus, all of them comes with window, kitchen and all the toilet.
Yeah, which brings us to the next floor plan, the 3-bedroom. Yeah, but I think more importantly is that before you go to 3-bedroom, right, is that 2 plus study, when I mean by sandwich, right, is that when you talk about the 2-bedder, right, we advertise the 2-bedder for market at the time, right, this 2 plus study is going to be the more premium one in terms of the price point because it has a bigger study area. Yeah, so then if you compare to a 3-bedder, the starting from like what you mentioned just now, then it's a bit close also. So it's like somewhere in between. Like you're not a 3-bedder, but you are not a full 2-bedder.
You're like a high end of a 2-bedder.
Yeah, correct. So not say it's not good, but it takes some time to let go lah. So for those that really needs just a room, you don't need a full room to put a bed. You just want a study area. Then probably this is a choice lah because you also save up about 200,000 like what you mentioned. Yeah. So come to the 3-bedroom.
So 3-bedder onwards, all the kitchen and all the toilet comes with window already.
Yeah, wow, the 3-bedroom, a lot of layouts.
10 got 10.
Yeah. Okay, so a very quick one. Actually, most of the layouts quite similar. They just change a little bit in terms of the in front, the what you call
the
that?
entrance.
The entrance. Yeah. Okay, so all have tuck-in kitchen. All have tuck-in kitchen. Then all the like what I mentioned, the kitchen all have windows. The toilet all have windows. Even the common toilet all have windows. Yeah. So this one is the starting one, the compact.
First one is the compact. Yeah. So compact is the only one where one of the bedroom is on the other side.
Yeah. Then compact one, what's the difference between the compact and the rest? Right, is that compact one will not have any storage, At the same time, the common room for the compact one, you can see over here, it's a little bit smaller, so it's 8 square meter. Yeah, the rest, right, moving onwards, will be 9 square meter.
And one more thing about this common room on the other side, if you notice, most of the time, right, where the common room is on the other side, you realize the window is here. So you will face like aircon lash and all that, right? But this developer is very smart. They do it in such a way that the window is over here. So at least this common room not so sad, okay? They still get some view because they are actually corner and they will be looking
Facing
out from
outwards,
here. Yes.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, so this is the compact one. Then we move on to the next one, which is C2. So C2 itself, you can see that they have finally a storage area. So from here onwards, we have a storage area. Just that for C2 itself, it's not bomb shelter, it's a flexi at 3 square meter. It's a little bit smaller. The next few layouts that we see, right, the bomb shelter will be at 4 square meter. So again, you have your enclosed kitchen, but this enclosed kitchen will link you to the flexi room. Then you have your proper bedrooms. This one, the master bedroom, a little bit smaller compared to the compact. This one is 13 square meter, right? The compact one is 14 square meter. So this one, right, is why it's 13 square meter, right? Is because of this part over here, right, they have a longer entrance. Yep, and the plus point about this, which I forgot to mention about the compact, right, is that you can see the toilet over here. It's not facing the bed directly. Yeah, so some people, they're looking for specifically, right, the toilet not facing the bedroom one. So this one is one of them. Yeah, if not, usually this is a very common layout. So C1, the size is at 818, then C2 is at 872 square feet. Yep, then the next one will be the next size, which is over 1,000 square feet already, which is the 3-bedroom premium. So 3-bedroom premium onwards, we start with C3 at 1,001 square feet. So at 1,001 square feet, right, what's the difference?
C3 onwards comes with dry kitchen.
Yep.
Dry and wet kitchen plus a yard.
Yep, dry and wet kitchen plus a yard. At the same time, it's also a bomb shelter already. Yeah, which is the one that I mentioned at 4 square meters. So the space is a little bit bigger. Yep. Then this is for C3. Then after that, for C4 itself at 1,012 square feet. So the main difference for these, right, would actually be the a little bit space for the living room area.
Because the entrance is wider.
The entrance is wider. Yeah, so this is the very, very small difference. Yeah, so these two, I would say, is more or less pretty similar in terms of the layout, in terms of their...
The rest are all the same.
Yeah, these two will be probably very similar in terms of the layout. Yep. Then they come to C5 at 1,023 square feet, as well as C6 at 990 square feet. Yeah, then C6 itself dropped back down to 990 square feet. Yeah, but you see in terms of layout, what's the difference over here? C5 and C6. You see the room size actually is the same. The master bedroom size also the same. The master bath also the same. Actually all the same.
The living room.
Correct. So what's the difference? 36 square meter compared to 33 square meter, which is the extra space over here. Yeah, which makes the living room a bit bigger at 36 square meter. Then this one is the 33 square meter. So come to this, which is C7 as well as C8. So C7 and C8.
Okay, so C7 is the same size as C3, which you mentioned just now, 1,001 square feet. So this is actually like just a flip image. Okay, if you compare, the inside is actually exactly the same. For the bedrooms as well as the kitchen, the master bedroom is all the same. And then for C8 onwards, okay, C8, this is 1,023 square feet. This is the same as C5. Yeah, so same. You flip the image and you get exactly the same. Just that the entrance way a little bit different.
Yeah, so actually for C8 is the one that we talk about, the one that is actually facing this direction. The Petir Road.
The full east one.
Yeah, the full east one. So this is the one. So this one is the only one when you enter the entrance over here, right, you'll face almost like straight to your kitchen area. Yep.
And for C9 and C10, the additional part is the study.
This one, the size is very, very similar to the 4-bedroom compact. So for the 3-bedroom, right, what would be the choice? I think the first choice we discussed, right, would actually go for, in terms of quantum, right, the lower one. But the lower quantum with the best functionality, meaning it must have storage, everything. So it will be C2, first choice. Then after that, followed by C6 at 990. Yeah, so this is the second choice. Yep. So it has everything. The place is also a little bit bigger in terms of the storage at 9 square meter for the bomb shelter. Then after that, we group quite a few of them together. So we group these few together. This one, here over together. Because this one, right, the size quantum is a little bit smaller. You can see the size quantum is at 1001.
1001 and 1012.
1001, then 1012. Yeah, so this one group them together. So this one will be the third choice.
Because they have additional space from the walkway.
Correct. Then after that will be the compact one. Why the compact one, right? Although do have the study, right? But in terms of, I think usable space. It makes more sense. Then after that will be number 5. We group 2 together also, which is actually C5 as number 5, as well as C8 as number 5.
Because they are the same size. So it's just a flip image and just different facing.
Yeah, but at the same time, right, the difference, right, is that we are paying for extra walkway. This walkway space only. So other than that, very similar to the 1001 and 1012 square feet layout also. Yeah, then lastly, right, number 6 would actually be the study.
The 2 study units.
Correct, the 2 study units. So why the study, right, is the last one, right? Because the study, right, there's an option. I think this study, right, is like unique in a way, right? It hits until 4-bedder already. So if you're looking for a 4-bedroom, right, this 3+ study, right, might fulfill your needs. Because like recently, or actually just yesterday, I brought the buyer to go and see North Park, right? What happened is that they bought a 4-bedder because they want a bigger master bedroom size. Yeah, so then they can do a walk-in wardrobe and everything like that. So if you see this study over here, right, the difference over here, these 2 study,
the wall is hackable.
Yeah, the wall over here is hackable. At the same time, the master bedroom is huge. It's 19 square meter. Yeah, normal one is actually about 14, which you see over here. The 4-bedder one is at 14. Yeah, this one is huge. Yeah, so this one, right, you can actually remove over here to make it a good walk-in wardrobe area. Then you don't have to really go and hack down the wall if you go buy a 4-bedder. Yeah, and the size is a lot more decent. Yeah, for the master bedroom. Yeah, so of course, let's say alternatively, you want to go for the compact one. This one is at 1152 square feet, which is the same as C9 layout for the 3-bedder at 1152 square feet. Yeah, so the main difference, right, is that just now that we mentioned, the study room itself, this one at 5 square meter, right, you get a proper bedroom at 9 square meter long, but the master bedroom is actually smaller.
And you also get a junior master. So for people who are getting 4-bedder, likely it's like big families or they staying with elderly, they will want a junior master suite. So the 4-bedder will make more sense.
Right. So for the 4-bedroom, there's only 2 different kinds. So it's either the one that just now you mentioned, the compact one, or we have the premium one. The premium one is at 1378 square feet. Yeah, but comparing these 2 layouts, you can see very obvious. The main thing, right, will actually be the living room area. The living room area for the premium one, right, is a lot bigger. It's actually a landscape layout. At the same time, you still have your
junior master. So the junior master tucked at one corner instead of combined with the rest of the three other bedrooms.
And all the bedrooms and the living rooms are all face the same direction and facing outwards, which is very nice. Yeah, so 4-bedder, I think the choice is quite obvious.
Quite obvious.
If you have a choice, go for the bigger unit type. Yeah, this one would be
our first choice.
Yeah. Okay, so for the 5-bedroom, which is the last unit selection, actually there's no much difference. The main difference, right, is actually the entrance over here only. Yeah, which is the layout of the lift floor. Yeah, but there's one difference though, the positioning. The distance from here, right, is actually a lot bigger compared to the distance here. Yeah, so with the similar layout, right, the main difference why I think E2 will make better, right, is because of the distance, block distance. It'll make it more premium because there's a lot more light coming in.
The other side is about 34 meters.
Correct. So the other side will be a bit more narrow. Yeah. So other than that, I think one thing about the 5-bedroom here is that, like what you mentioned just now, there's very little 5-bedroom here. At the same time, right, the lift, those with private lift, very, very little.
Actually, in the whole of Bukit Panjang, there's no 5-bedder with private lift. So this will be a very unique layout in this area.
Right. So this is what Celine mentioned. So this is 53 meter. Then this one is only 32 or 31 meter. Yeah. So this one will be a lot closer. Yep. So if let's say you want to find out more about this area over here or looking to consider to upgrade in this area over here, you can always reach out to us. Yeah, again, I'm Stevenson.
Celine.
Yep. Then you can always follow us on our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as TikTok as well. Yeah. Then we will see you on the next analysis. Bye.
Bye.